The average time it takes to find a job nowadays is 3 to 6 months. To that, I say hell no. So today I will be showing you a full guide on how to find a job and get hired in 2024. I will be diving into specifics right now because you need a job ASAP in this horrendous state of economy and job market and overall everything in 2024. So without further ado, let's go.
Also, I would say that I'm pretty qualified to say this now because I recently found a job and got hired, so.
Step number 1. Now what you want to do right after this video is just to start with the basics. Start with the general websites. Use Indeed, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, Craigslist, and then you use it to find the most relevant jobs and the job that you think has the most likelihood of you getting into there. And then you move on. You go to the company's website. And if you're looking for like a minimum wage job, you go to Walmart, Target, McDonald's, Chipotle. You get the point. Know that Starbucks and Walmart has a bulk application process. It's where you can select multiple jobs at once and then apply in one go, which is really good. Really convenient for when you're looking for any job. And if you're not looking for a minimum wage job, here are some more specific job search websites for you guys. If you're a marketer, go for these. If you're a business person, go for this. If you're a tech person and you're looking for a tech job, go for this. If you're a veteran, go for this. If you want AI to look for jobs for you, go for this. If you want to see more of my stupid videos, click right here. Now listen, it is very, very, very normal to apply to 100 jobs in a week or maybe in 2 days, maybe in 1 day, and still not being able to find a job nowadays. It is very normal. Just know that and just keep going. And also be wary of ghost jobs. Now, I have explained ghost jobs many times, but to give a brief summary once again, ghost jobs are basically jobs that employers would post just for the sake of posting it for their own benefits. And the reasoning is not too important for you to know, but it goes, let's just say that their employees want help. Employers would just post jobs on Indeed or whatever just so that their current employees can have some hope that they're gonna get help when they aren't gonna get help because the employers just wanna milk that employee. I know that sounds kind of weird, but just bear with me, okay? Another reason why an employer might post a ghost job is for the sake of the company stocks. The stockholder like to see business is booming. And what's the easiest and best way to show that your business is booming? Show that you need more people when you don't. And the third reason is that the manager or the job recruiter might be getting like some stocks benefits. So let's just say that if they raise the stocks overall and make their company look good, they will get compensations. It all comes out to corporate greed at the end of the day. And how you can avoid them is step number 1. Look for jobs that has little to nothing, no description in their job description. If they don't show effort, that means that they're just posting it for the sake of posting it. Another one, if you've seen the same job 2 months ago and now it's back, most likely it is a ghost job because most likely they have found a candidate already within those 2 months. It's so easy for a job recruiter to recruit an employee nowadays. They don't need 2 months for that, okay? If you see those, run away. Run in the other direction. Go. So yeah, now that you know what ghost jobs are and now that you know the average time it takes to find yourself a goddamn job nowadays, you should be able to mentally prepare yourself for this journey and know that it's going to be a really tough journey. And the key is to not give up. We got duties and responsibilities to fulfill. So before we get to applying to jobs, let's go back to the basics, the resume, which leads me to my second point. Update your resume. What people always lack are soft skills. Be sure to highlight your soft skills in addition to your technical skills. What soft skills are communication, teamwork, adaptability, and what technical skills are basically like your computer science skills, the skills that's 100% is required. But the soft skills are not as important, but people tend to neglect them, which you will stand out more for including them in your resume. And this is especially important to highlight if you have a job gap. And I will dive deeper into why in just a second. But first, another tip is to show more experience, show more professionalism, way more than you have. Be sure to exaggerate a little bit, just a little bit. As long as it's not lying, it's just an exaggeration and it's just, it's nothing. You gotta do what you gotta do. Another thing. Studies have shown that if you add your LinkedIn profile into your resume, it will greatly increase your chances of getting hired. But only if your LinkedIn profile is good. If it's a terrible profile, do not add it because that will actually decrease your chances of getting hired. So it's basically a double-edged sword. Just hide it at that point if it's terrible. You should also hide your terrible skills too. Like, do not mention your weaknesses. Let's just say that you're not an extrovert. Well, because companies like extroverts, do not mention that you're not an extrovert. Just don't say it. Just don't say anything about it until they ask you. Now, for those of you wondering, what is a good LinkedIn profile? Well, basically, a good LinkedIn profile has a professional profile picture and a banner. And a good LinkedIn profile will also have an informative work experience section. And be sure to show your effort in building meaningful connections. By that, I mean find relevant connection to your work field and befriend them on LinkedIn or whatever and get their reference. Another tip. Now, you see that job description on Indeed or whatever? They usually have 43 keywords according to studies. Applicants usually only put 50% of those keywords into their resume. If you really want a specific job, copy and paste that description and find the keywords. You can either find it yourself or you can make your life 1,000 times better and just copy it and just plug it into ChatGPT and tell it to find you keywords. Just matching relevant keywords to the job field that you're looking for, important keywords. And then make sure that your job skills or your past experience or your job description is similar to the ones that you find on Indeed or LinkedIn or whatever. Also, another tip. According to studies, if your resume has 475 to 600 words, that is the perfect amount of words that you need to include in your resume. Any higher, it's gonna reduce your chances of getting hired. Any lower, same thing. In fact, you are 43% less hireable if it is over 600 words, according to data. Now, there's always an exception to this rule. Let's just say that you're a professor and you're applying for your job and you need to include a bunch of words. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know. But if you're not, be sure to use word counter on Google Doc or whatever. And do not use buzzwords and cliches. What buzzwords are basically like you're including team player, you're passionate about your job. Listen, when you use these terms, you are in the 51% of resumes that already have them in their resumes. And think about it, a job recruiter goes through like 6 trillion resumes in a day. They will get sick and tired of your cliche terms. So what you want to do is Google resume cliche terms and remove them out of the face of the earth. Another tip, add measurable results. What measurable results are basically results that have proof, that are numbers driven, and that shows your performance. And examples of them could be numbers of sales that you've made, percentage of customers that you helped, etc., etc. It is very crucial for you to include these numbers for your past experience. It will make you stand out a lot more. Here's another tip. Now, this tip will certainly help you if you're looking for a very specific job. And let's just say that if you're looking for 3 different specific jobs and getting hired into any of them will be just fine for you, well, make separate resumes for those different fields. Example, put in past experience of a security job that you've had and emphasize on it if you're applying for a security job, and put in specific security skills that you might have and emphasize it on your resume. Now, let's just say that you're applying to like a tech job. Well, remove that completely, ignore that, and then just put in your past experience with tech. Put in your past experience with coding or whatever, and then emphasize on that. You get the point. Another tip, if you've had a job gap, I will dive into this topic more later, but for now, if you had a job gap, just make your resume as skill-based as possible and try your best not to include your job gap, because to employers, it basically translates that you have committed a felony. That's how bad they look at it. Like they will literally just ignore your resume if you have a job gap. So don't put in that you have a job gap. Another tip, be sure to give your resume a professional look. Emphasize on that. Not a showy look, not an artsy look. Unless your job is art related, then well, go ahead. Showy will actually decrease your chances of getting hired. And this makes sense. The ATS, the online system that looks at your resume automatically and then like just throw it in the trash if it's trash or if it's not like an actual resume, will not like it if your resume is way too artsy or way too different looking. Plus, your employer will prefer just a simple and professional looking resume because at the end of the day, it is supposed to be professional looking. Just keep it plain and simple and follow the rules. More work will not result in better results for this one. Trust me, play it smart and be sure to make your resume ATS friendly. This means that you shouldn't use JPEG files. ATS will not like it. And what ATS stands for, if you're wondering, is Applicant Tracking System. Oh yeah, here's another tip. Keep graphics, pictures, formats, and font normal. Don't make it quirky. It might not recognize it as an actual resume and it might just ignore your resume or something. Here is the last big tip. Add a professional summary. For those of you who don't know what a professional summary is, it's basically a brief, concise paragraph at the top of the resume that's basically your introduction. And this will include an overview of the job seeker's most relevant qualifications, skills, experience, and achievements. And remember, keep it plain and simple. Follow the rules. Basically, a resume will have a required sections. Here are the sections that are always on a resume that you need to include in your resume if you already don't have it for some reason. Number 1, your name. Number 2, your contact information. Number 3, your past experience, your past work or whatever. Number 4, your education. Now, I'm not sure if education is as important if you're looking for like a minimum wage job. I might be wrong, but include it nonetheless. Number 5, skills. Your skills. Are you a people person? Are you friendly? Include it. And some additional stuff. It's not required, but you should really include in your resume. Number 1, your past volunteers. Number 2, like I've said at the beginning, your soft skills. This is your people skills, whether or not you're friendly or you're adaptable. Number 3, your languages. Do you speak Spanish, English, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese? Include all of it. Make yourself look better. And who knows, your job might require those languages. We're finally past with the resumes and time to move on with how to build your LinkedIn profile, which is going to be our number 3 big point. Now, why should you build your LinkedIn profile? Well, as I've said before, it increases your chances by 6 trillion%. That is not accurate, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Get a professional attire and a good photo of you, plus a good banner. You can use Canva for it. Add a good and meaningful headline. Tell them what you can bring to the tables. Tell them your values, your skills, your experience. Another one, include specific and relevant keywords in your LinkedIn about section that are relevant to the job that you want or the job that you're applying to. Add your skills the right way. Make sure to add them and then you get endorsements from your friends, from your ex-manager or from your professor or whatever. Have some proof that you have those skills. It will make you stand out a lot more. Another one, get a custom URL. Resumes with a link to your LinkedIn profile has a 71% of them being more likely to get hired. So you want that URL to look clean and nice. Another one, friend everyone on LinkedIn. The more friends you have, the more legit you look. Even if you don't know them, just friend them. Most people just add you back anyways. Which leads me to my 4th big point. Networking. Be sure to ask your friends for recommendations, references, whatever. Recommendations or referrals will increase your chances of getting hired at that workplace by, dare I say it, 2%. It is very powerful. If they're currently working like, let's just say at Target, well, you're 2 times more likely to get hired at Target if you have a recommendation from your friend to work there. At least ask them for a reference. Ask. Which leads me to my 5th big point. Job gap. Job gaps are really important because they might be detrimental if you don't treat them right. Now, the fact is that companies will not like it that you have a job gap. It's gonna be like you committed a felony, okay? A felony for being lazy or whatever the hell. At least that's what they think. Okay, I'm sure you weren't lazy, but that's what they're gonna think. That's the reality of it. To counteract this, you're gonna use a functional resume. What a functional resume is gonna highlight your skills instead of your past experience. Or it also highlights your other experiences that isn't a job, such as volunteering, or let's just say that you learned something from a class, where you can include that instead. If your job gap was less than a year, omit your months of unemployment so that it's less obvious. Try to hide it or try to not bring it up so that it's less obvious. If it's longer than a year, add an entry to your work experience section and include skills or other experiences that you might have gained in your job gap period if they're relevant to the job that you're looking for. Which leads me to my 6th big point. Prepare for your interviews. Watch YouTube videos prior. Before the interview, know the type of questions that you're gonna be asked. Know their company. Know why you want to work there. Search them up. Do research prior. Be like a Bond villain. Know everything about them and know their core values, know what they do, or at least just know the basics, okay? That's what you at least should know. Because by doing this, it will show more confidence and show more qualifications that you might not already have. It will essentially make your interview more smooth if they ask you questions about their own company. You will be ready. Here are the general rules. Don't talk too much. Don't talk too little. And show that you're prepared. And don't be over prepared because you're gonna look like a robot. This is not a lie, okay? All these might be contradictory, but you just have to find like a middle line in between all of these, and that's where you want to be. Not too much, not too little. A good candidate. That's what you want to be. Be kind of enthusiastic, but don't be too enthusiastic. You know, you're gonna look like a tryhard. And don't be a robot. That's really bad. Show your love. Show commitment to the job. That's the most important thing. Show commitment. Show dedication. Say that you want to stay and work there forever if you have to, okay? And that you want to move up in their company for the next 500 years. Even if it's a lie, okay? Just say that you want to stay there for years. Also, include as many open availabilities as you can. And try to show them that you will adjust your schedules just for them. This will make them really like you. And also, as a general rule, during the interview, dress appropriately, at least wear a casual formal attire, arrive on time, and always ask for follow-ups after your interview just so that they don't ghost you and you waste your time. These are just basic tips, but fatal if you get it wrong. Number 7, here are the websites that will help you in your job search journey. ChatGPT, this is a powerful AI. You need to use it to make your life so much better and easier. Grammarly, this is for people who can't English like me. Third one, JobScan. What this website does is that you put your resume in it, you paste it in there, and then you copy and paste your job description from Indeed or whatever, and then it will give you a score of how well your resume is made for that job. And know that Indeed and LinkedIn has some resume helpers in their websites. It's pretty cool. And lastly, use Canva to create your profile picture on LinkedIn or your banner picture. And boom! Now you are definitely hired. Nah, just kidding. Probably not. According to statistics, you will probably not be hired. Here's why. Which is why, for the last tip, number 8, do not be discouraged. Keep on keeping on. Average time nowadays, remember, is 3 to 6 months. And chances of getting hired nowadays from all of your job applications is 3%. It's basically gambling. So just be patient, pray, but do not get burned out. You got duties and responsibilities to fulfill. Anyways, that's about it. Bye.